if you are seeing this video, there is a chance where I am on a hiatus from filming and posting. So it is due to a family emergency. So sit back, enjoy the video, and I thank you for your understanding during this time. Hey guys, Wolfie here. This is the May calendar preview part 1 and 2 for the City of Final Fantasy Opera Amiya Global. Now, mind you, the actual stream itself is going to be tomorrow afternoon. That is Pacific Daylight Time, which is 3:30 Central Daylight Time because I am 2 hours ahead. So basically, this is the information you'll see here. Draw tickets, all this stuff here. So it's always good. So what I'm going to be doing, something very similar to last month, where it's like, I'm going to break it down into 2 parts, where it's like, I just go over, some stuff that is slated to come along on the global end at some point during the May calendar. And the other part, giving my take on some of the stuff revealed in the stream. So, like I said, it's not going to be everything for the May calendar, but it's going to be, for this part, it's going to be like, some of the important stuff that we know that's coming. Now, the usual disclaimer, any opinion in this video is my opinion and my opinion only, and I'm going to start off with a backtrack on a backtrack. Because the whole thing with Sarah, she does have her LD on Global, however, she was given a Global First upgrade because, if you remember the last stream, there was a lot of talk about it. We didn't know what was going on. It wasn't confirmed on the stream, but we still got Sarah's LD on Global within the April calendar. Not only that, she was given a pretty solid upgrade on that. So before I go into the calendar, I'm going to sound off on the upgrade to Sarah's LD, the Global First. This is something none of us had anticipated on happening. This does, in my personal opinion, however, and this is however good, that we are probably going to be seeing Sarah's upgrade on JP in the near future. And by that, I'm probably going to see some format of a second rework for Sarah, because to this day on JP, she is still without that secondary rework, and she is a candidate for a burst weapon as Burst Plus, because she is a sequel protagonist. And for those of you who are wondering about the 13th candidate for antagonist slot, I feel that is still open, because you look at Caius, he is a sequel antagonist, and quite frankly, he was not even mentioned in 13 at all. He was only brought up in 13-2 and Lightning Returns as Lightning's rival. But besides that point, again, Caius is a sequel antagonist, meaning that 13 proper antagonists, that slot is still open, and it is open up to speculation. Some people are expecting Sid, because, again, you have Sid Reigns, who is on JP. He has fought against the group. But if you look at Snow, there are, bigger hints at him. In the sense of, Snow does not have an LD. He does not have a secondary rework. And the interactions between Snow and Lightning, it's just it's been kind of like a proper roller coaster, to where Lightning does face off against Snow in Lightning Returns. So, with that bit out of the way, we're just going to jump right into the first part of the May calendar preview, like I said. And believe it or not, we just caught this person. This is Terra from Final Fantasy VI. She is the first of 2 characters to get their burst weapon in the month of May. She is going to be the first one, and she gets the Celeste treatment with a rework. Because and the reason why I say it like that, because Terra has a solid secondary rework coming. I've seen videos of it, but I'm not going to reveal exactly what it is. But she has one of the most anticipated reworks coming to Global, and again, she gets the Celeste treatment, meaning that the rework is pretty effing good. And I'm trying to keep it clean, so yeah. So basically, again, Terra, she gets her LD burst weapon, rework 8080 Awakening. She gets quite good. And there's a certain nickname she's referred to in relation to another protagonist. But it's like type of damage they deal is like different, so y'all to reveal the nickname, she's known as Magic Lightning once she gets her 8080 Awakening, her burst LD extension to a character enhancement board, and rework. So she gets a good deal coming. So, who is the other burst weapon candidate? Oh, and before I go into that, so the reason why she's the first, because we have the main story coming to global, which is Act 3, Chapter 2. So she's gonna be for parts 1 and 2 of that part of the main story. So that's on that. With part 2 of Act 3, Chapter 2, we have the global debut of Mog for Final Fantasy VI. So it's pretty much centered on Final Fantasy VI. It's one of my all-time favorite Final Fantasy entries alongside 4. So with that, I'm going to be doing some degree of pausing throughout this entire video, so please bear with me. I am back. Like I said, I'm going to be pausing. So Garland is going to be the second individual with the burst weapon for the main calendar. And the thing is with Garland to keep in mind is that unlike Terra, Garland will be getting a burst plus variant in the future. So it's one of those things like Yashoa. Garland will also be getting the burst plus variant to his weapon. And unlike Terra, he does get the LD extension board, the LD extension to his character enhancement board alongside his 8080 Awakening. I have to double check to see if he gets a rework. But yeah, in JP he was considered the returning LD for the burst. And by that, how Kuja's LD came back with his 8080 Awakening alongside Kuja's LD extension to his character enhancement board. It's the same thing for Garland, his LD returns, and like Kuja, he gets an 8080 Awakening, but unlike Kuja, he not only gets a burst weapon, but the burst weapon after that, in the future after that, gets the plus variant. 7 for Final Fantasy Type 0. Now, thing is with her, and she comes in an interesting situation with Sarah. Now, what do I mean by this? So, like Sarah, 7 gets an 8080 Awakening. She gets the LD, as well as the LD extension to her character enhancement board. Like Sarah, 7 does not get a rework when that happens. And this is something I want to address here. And some people on JP, should probably listen in on this as well. Is that when a character gets a quote-unquote new toy, meaning whether it be EX or which is in the past, or something like the LD and or burst weapon, they don't always come with a rework. Sometimes the rework comes after the fact. And this is something we have to, be realistic on, in my personal opinion, because we can't just sit here and expect a rework for certain characters. Sometimes it doesn't come right away. Sometimes it doesn't come at all. This is something, we have to be a bit realistic. It's like, okay, is this person coming with a rework, or is the rework in a separate, update sort of thing? So something we have to be a bit more mindful as a community, because in all honesty, it's just like, you have characters like 7, Sarah, Aerith, they didn't really come with a rework with their LD weapons, but they have their own roles in the game nevertheless. So it's one of those things is where, with 7, I think she was said to have similar issues with Sarah when her LD first showed up, that sort of thing. And like Sarah, yes, I do feel 7 needs a rework, aka the secondary rework. And for a recap of that, the EX ability gives her a restoration of skill 1 and skill 2. Not just one of the skills, because in all honesty, that still affects her longevity in the long run. Anyway, so regarding the lost chapters, we have the lost chapters for Emmett Italian from Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles alongside Dash from Final Fantasy III. Now, these two will get their 8080 awakenings alongside the LD extension to their character enhancement boards. Because these lost chapters introduce something brand new to Global, and that is where the lost chapter banners have a new and returning LD weapon, meaning that the character the character featured in the original events, like their LD is coming back. Alongside the debut of an LD of someone else on the banner. So with that, Deuce from Final Fantasy Type 0, she gets her 8080 awakening and the debut of her LD on Emmett Italian's Lost Chapter banner. It is said to be quite solid. Some people were like fearful where her LD becomes a bit of like a Sarah or something like that, but that's word on the street. But Deuce holds her own in her own right here. Yang or Yang, however you want to pronounce the name, he is from Final Fantasy IV. So for Dash's Lost Chapter banner, his LD is going to show up alongside the 8080 awakening. He gets a rework and the LD extension to his character enhancement board. The thing is with Yang or Yang, I'm going to be doing interchange with pronunciation. He actually has a surprisingly anticipated rework coming. Because it's like, you have to see the videos to see it for yourself. I did see it. It looks pretty solid in my own personal opinion. So, he's one of those where, he's not one you want to sleep on. Ferris from Final Fantasy V. Now, the reason why I'm adding her into the equation is because she is part of the next level of the newest the newest Dimension Zen, which is Transcendence. So like I said, I get to try the Entropy only because I just been super busy. I'm busy with work, I barely have time as it is. And now I have my family emergency. I have even smaller amount of time to play. But anyway, Fierce, I'm going to put her in here as part of the May calendar because if memory serves me correctly, she gets another rework, her 8080 awakening, and alongside the LD extension to the character enhancement board, alongside the alternate costume. So she gets this like a miniature package deal, alternate costume, LD weapon, LD extension to character enhancement board, 8080 awakening, and the rework. So she gets a pretty good solid deal out of this. Now, being this one whose favorite Final Fantasy games, more so being like from the 1 through 6 era as opposed to the modern, I am more than likely will be picking up Ferris's alternate costume because Ferris has helped me through a lot of the content. Like, back in the 50/50 era. She's actually helped me out a good deal because the way I play is debuff and delay all day. Granted, launching is not a bad idea, but it's just like me, like I said personally, I would rather debuff and delay, cripple the enemy's offense as opposed to, sending them in the air for massive amounts of damage. So that's just me. So, and you know what? That's my girl. So, Bosch from Final Fantasy 12, I almost forgot about him. Good thing I'm like, okay, let me see if I can recall something. So, when Terra is around the time where Terra, gets her LD burst, reworked 8080 awakening, Bosch's LD is another that comes back. However, with Bosch's case, he's only getting an 8080 awakening alongside the LD extension to his character enhancement board. Fortunately for me, I was able to pick up his LD. I remember I was going after his LD. I got Noctis's burst in that banner. So that one I have like a memory of what happened when I was going after it. So I got the burst before the LD I wanted. So that was a win-win for me right there. But anyway, so for Bosch, when it comes to the main story, he gets his 8080 awakening. He also gets the LD extension to his character enhancement board. So for me, it's just like, I know which banners I'm gonna go after here. It's probably gonna be like, and regarding for like Tara, I'm going after both her LD and her burst on that banner. But I'm probably gonna be skipping some of the others because, quite honestly, the banner where it's Tara's burst and Bosch's LD weapon, I already have his LD weapon, so it's no use for me. And I'd rather go after where I know I could benefit more from. So, with that, my plans for banners, I honestly don't know what I'm going to be doing outside of Tara's LD and burst weapon. For Garland, however, I think the banner I'm probably going to be jumping in for his burst weapon is, believe it or not, because Seven's my girl, and I'm not going to miss her, is the banner where it's his first weapon and her LD. Because, like I said, Seven's my girl. And Seven, in some aspects, has pulled me through some of the content. I mean, not levels like Ash and Ferris. Bosch, he's actually helped me out with some of the content. Lena, when her LD comes on Global, I'm going after it. I'm going balls deep. So Lena's got me through some of the content. Y'shtola, she's got me through a lot of the content. Yuna to a certain degree, but not really. But yeah, I think I mainly go after those who got me through a lot. Tara, I will be going after her LD and burst, because Tara's got me through a good amount of content. Let's see, I don't know who else, but Garland, I don't really use him that much, but I do have him developed somewhat. So yeah, I mean, when it comes to made banners I anticipate on pulling this month, my gem stash is pretty darn low alongside my ticket, so I do have to conserve a little bit. But yeah. So for sure, Tara is a surefire regarding the banner itself. So for her LD and burst, I am going after both of her LD and her burst. For Garland's burst, I'm on the fence on, but that's only because I already have his LD. I will be going after Seven's LD weapon because, again, Seven's my girl. Now, assuming that Ferris's LD weapon shows up alongside her 8080 Awakening and rework, with the LD extension to her character enhancement board and the alternate costume, Ferris is a surefire for me because, again, Ferris got me through a good amount of the content back in the 50-50 era, and someone not to sleep on. Yang, he is a bit on the fence because he's on a banner where I'm like, I don't know if I really want to go after it due to resources. But yeah, there's some stuff I'm a little on the fence about. There's some I'm going to be going after. That's that on that. My overall take here for what's coming up on the May calendar with the characters. Believe it or not, like I said, Tara gets the Celeste treatment in the regards of the rework 8080, and in Tara's case, the 8080 Awakening, the LD extension to her character enhancement boards. Alongside that burst weapon, she is Magic Lightning. Unfortunately, for us, we do look forward to the day where Tara gets the returning burst weapon to see what they're planning on doing, because she could get another rework coming along. We don't know yet. But that is that on that. So with Wolfie here signing off, I will catch you all on the flip side.